The OnePlus 6 is making news for all the right reasons, and despite being 30 to 40% more affordable than the Galaxy S9 Plus, it sure is giving a lot of competition to the device. Let's get into the comparison. I'm only going to talk about the real differences here. Specification-wise, both devices are neck to neck. Both the devices feature the same powerful Snapdragon 835 octa-core processor with 6GB of RAM. However, the OnePlus 6 also has an 8GB RAM option. And so the OnePlus 6 definitely has an edge in performance. But when it comes to display, the OnePlus 6 only has a slightly larger display, but the S9 Plus has a mind-blowing display resolution. Both have extremely competent camera setups with own pros and cons. The S9 Plus additionally features wireless charging, Bixby AI, and an IP68 certification, all of which are missing in the OnePlus 6. First, the Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus are wireless charging enabled, which is definitely a very convenient option. However, to be very honest, wireless charging is not as fast, and what the dash charger can do in 10 minutes, it might take half an hour for a wireless charger to do. Second, the S9 Plus has a hybrid SIM card slot. That is, you can either put in 2 SIM cards, or you could have 1 SIM and 1 micro SD card that can expand storage by 400 gigabytes. The OnePlus 6 can only adjust for 2 SIM cards and no micro SD card, so no expandable storage in the OnePlus 6. But again, with 128GB or 64GB of internal storage and all music and movies being streamed online, do you really need expandable storage? Third comes camera. Both the devices have dual camera setups. The Galaxy S9 Plus has lower resolution 12 megapixel cameras, however they're brighter, while the OnePlus 6 has higher resolution cameras but may not be as bright as the S9 Plus. Also, the S9 Plus comes with variable aperture that ensures great pictures in low lighting conditions. Now, these are a couple of examples that I shot, and you can see that the OnePlus 6 it shoots great pictures, but it's slightly on the warm tone. The pictures have a slight yellow tinge to them. So they don't seem as natural as the S9 Plus. But when it comes to low light photography, it's surprising that OnePlus 6 does a great job. I mean, it's giving such good competition to the S9 Plus. And if you look at the details in the bricks on the OnePlus 6 image, it's amazing. Both the cameras also come with optical image stabilization, and these are just, some sample footage. It's not the best way to shoot, but it's just to give you an idea. This was actually shot in 4K, but I'm just rendering them in 1080 for your reference. The S9 Plus comes with super slow-mo, that is, it can record 720p video at 960 frames per second, and that looks awesome. But it only lets you record 6.4 seconds worth of super slow-mo footage. The OnePlus 6 allows you to shoot at 480 FPS, which is still pretty slow, and it lets you do that for 1 whole minute. So you don't have to be always in the moment to be able to capture that slow-mo, which I think is actually a smarter move. You can just clip the area that you really need. Next comes display, and I'm going to have to give it to OnePlus for being able to squeeze a larger display size in a body slightly smaller than the Galaxy S9 Plus. That's amazing. However, both the screen to body ratio and the screen resolution is higher in the Galaxy S9 Plus. So in true terms, the Galaxy S9 Plus stands to be more bezel-less and sharper than the OnePlus 6, although it might not look like it because of the display on the sides of the notch of the OnePlus 6 that extend all the way. Both are AMOLED displays, and they're both amazing. But I've always been a fan of the Samsung displays. It's Super AMOLED, and I'm going to stick by it. I still think the display is more vivid and brighter than the OnePlus 6. Now, just something that hasn't been talked about much is how these devices feel in the hand. Both are glass, right? So the grip is pretty much the same. But when it comes to the width, the OnePlus 6 feels wider, so it's a little difficult to hold as compared to the Galaxy S9 Plus, which seems to be sleeker for some reason, and you're able to wrap your hands around it much more conveniently, and that's because of the curve, both in the front and at the back. And it's that curve on both edges that really gives you that feel. But when it comes to OnePlus 6, it's flat at the top, okay? It's got a curve at the back, which still gives a pretty good feel, but yeah, on the front it's flat, and that wide width that you have, it really makes you feel a little uncomfortable. Now let's talk about performance. Both the devices feature the same processor. The OnePlus 6 comes in 2 options, 6GB and 8GB RAM, whereas the Galaxy S9 Plus comes only in 6GB, so the OnePlus has an edge over there. But I'm gonna just cut the bullshit and say it up front. The OnePlus 6 is faster, much more battery efficient. It feels a lot snappier, responds very quickly, apps launch and close in a jiffy, and it just feels a lot more responsive than the S9 Plus. And a lot has to do with the Oxygen OS, which is the OnePlus customization of Android Oreo for its devices. And that is super battery friendly, it's loaded with just the right features, and it just feels a lot lightweight overall. So your experience of using the OnePlus 6 is always going to be more fluid and faster compared to the S9 Plus. Also, the OnePlus 6 comes in an 8GB RAM model, so you've got an option as well. Both the devices are running Android 8 Oreo, but the OnePlus 6 has Android 8.1, while the S9 Plus has the older 8.0. And OnePlus 6 is expected to receive the Android P update earlier than the Galaxy S9 or the S9 Plus. Samsung is really slow when it comes to releasing updates, so don't see that changing. Another thing that Samsung's got is Samsung Pay. It's amazing because you can digitally and securely store all your credit or debit cards on your phone and use it anywhere where they swipe credit cards. So you really don't have to carry your cards anymore, and there is also a reward point system where you can, as and when you make purchases, you score points that you can then redeem for various cashbacks or discounts or vouchers, and you can use that. So it's just an added bonus. And I have to talk about the dash charging because it just seems like a feature. It's mind-blowing. The OnePlus 6 charger is a 20-watt charger as opposed to the 15-watt charger, fast charger that Samsung comes with. But the charging speed is insane when it comes to OnePlus 6, and it just leaves Samsung's fast charger to dust. There are some small things that I haven't talked about, like the OnePlus 6 has the notch, it's got the alert slider that sets your ringer profile, you've got gesture navigation, which is just a whole cool way of navigating and getting that immersive experience. But those are the more subtle differences and doesn't impact decision as such. So, should you shell out more for the Galaxy S9 or stick to buying the OnePlus 6? Well, if you really want the most value out of your money, go for the OnePlus 6 because the Galaxy S9 is not worth the extra money, as it does not really offer as many extra features for that extra amount. But if money is no problem, then definitely the Galaxy S9 is a better device because, then it's got wireless charging, slightly better camera, better display, Bixby, Samsung Pay, IP68 water resistant certification, expandable storage, and so on. So the price does bring quite a bit of menu of features along with it. But yeah, they're mostly bells and whistles, and the OnePlus 6 would do 80% of all of that at half the price.